Hello, yes, that's right. It's Joe here for Joyrider TV, back with another live Q&A from the boat park here at Downwind on the Greek island of Vasiliki, of course. Yes, hello to everybody who's already here with us. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I see we've got a bit of banter here already. Hi, Fun Day Sailing. Boat talk to start my morning. Yes, please. Hello. Rodrigo says Joe's busy with a cold beer in your hands. I was actually having a cold beer. Hello, James. Helmsman overboard. Yeah, probably something along those lines. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. And the big news, if you hadn't seen it on Joyrider TV of late, is yes, I did build a writing pole of my own design, and no, it didn't work. Oh, hello. Oh, sorry. Got some more hellos to chuck in here. Hello, Samuel. Nice to have you on board. Hello, Adam. Always a pleasure. Hi, Hayden. Hi, Eric. Eric, are Hobies expensive? First question of the day. It's all relative to what you're comparing them to. I think the general price of a Hobie compared to a different brand of boat is likely to be a little bit more expensive, but the thing that makes it a bit cheaper with like Hobies like the 16 or the 14 especially is that there's so many of them about that you can pick up relatively inexpensive boats more readily than other brands of catamaran because there's so many of them about. So I'd say for a Hobie 16 as our standard weapon of choice, I think a realistic sort of starting price low end for a Hobie 16 would be something along the lines of $800 or something for one which will float. Is the Bravo expensive? Sorry, I just saw that pop up from Eric. The Bravo, yeah, I should think you could pick up there's fewer Bravos about because they weren't made in such big numbers as the 16 or the 14. So you'd really have to be lucky to find a used Bravo in the first place. But if you do, you could probably pick one up for about 1,500, I should think, units of currency, wherever it is that you reside. Okay, scrolling back. Okay. Hello to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It makes me feel very special that everybody's still getting involved with these sessions. It's nice. It's a midweek fun time. All right. Benjamin, hello from Minnesota. Nice to have Minnesota on board. Curio 5150, who I believe is in, can I get this right, France? I think Javier, hello. Is the Hobie 11 expensive? Now, I'm not familiar with the Hobie 11 as a boat, so I couldn't really answer that. The nearest I know about to the Hobie 11 would be, in the current lineup, would be the Dragoon, which you could probably pick up a used Dragoon for about 2,500 units, if you're lucky enough to find one. Okay, 5150 is actually in the Netherlands, originally from Spain. All right, good to know. There's a lot of people who I've had correspondence with, and it's difficult to keep up with where everybody's from, and especially what people's real names are as well. But maybe that's the point of the YouTube user ID, is to hide your identity, like everyone on here is like a superhero or a spy. Okay, M1, hello from the Netherlands. Yeah, nice to have you on board. Hope everything's going well up there and the weather is still intact. Hi Kush, nice to have you back with us as always. Hi Alessandro, hi Kevin, morning. Moin, I'm assuming you mean morning, but hello Kevin, hello Samuel. Aha, there's a bit of a Minnesota gathering going down already. Hi Herbert from Germany, nice to have you on board. All right, M1 asks, do you like monohulls? Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm not against monohulls, but for me, it's just my field of expertise is in catamaran sailing, because that's what I've dedicated over most of my life to, is the catamaran sailing. Whereas the monohull sailing, I started off my sailing career sailing monohulls, but then quickly moved into catamarans. But then I've always been poking into monohulls on and off over the years, and we have got quite a sizable monohull fleet here at Wildwind, so I do get out on the monohulls occasionally, but mostly and largely the catamarans, because also for our situation here, catamaran sailing is much more practical and convenient, because we generally have a load of boats on moorings which you could just jump on one, whereas the monohulls, we generally have to rig them before we have to go out, and sometimes time is not in abundance. Okay, I'm kind of scrolling back. All right, Jeffrey, hi, hail Michigan. We got, that's a bit of Michigan representation. We've got Michigan, we've got Minnesota. Nice to see a fellow Northwoods dweller, says Benjamin. Nice. CNA 600. Hello, nice to have you on board. Hello, Robin. And hello. And I did see some pictures of you sailing, I believe, on the Facebook. Very nice to see. Well done. Good that you're getting involved. Hayden. Hi, Hayden. Do you know how heavy you have to be to write a Hobie 14 solo? Oh, that is a very good question. But all of the capsized writing seems to be one of the forefronts of what Joyrider TV is doing. And what I haven't considered is there's the two variables. One is crew weight, one is wind strength. The higher the wind strength, the less crew weight you need. So most of my tests have been in very light or zero wind to see how much, if it's feasible to bring a boat back upright, especially with this pole thing I've just done. But I haven't done what is the minimum weight to bring up a Hobie 14. And to be honest, it is something that I could do next summer, where I've got a whole team of instructors of varying weights. We could put a Hobie 14 on its side and see what is the smallest amount of weight to write a Hobie 14 with either very little or zero wind, because that is our control. But as the wind increases, you need less weight. So it's like what we've been doing with the 16. As long as it's windy enough to do a reasonably impressive capsize, then you don't need that much weight to bring a boat back upright. I think if you've got about a force 4, like 18 knots of wind, then you'd need about 100 kilos to bring a 16 back upright. I should think to bring a 14 back upright in that much wind, you probably need about 65 kilos, I should think. That's just a guess, because you asked. This is an exciting time, actually. You probably can't see that, but that large glowing ball is the sun, and it's about to go behind the mountain. It's getting earlier every day. Incredible how the planet works. All right, scrolling back. All right. Yasure Pano, nice to have you on board. That's Panos from Patra, just to the south, who is Panos is famous for the video, which was, I think it was something like, what was the tagline, like 220 kilograms on a Hobie 16. Is that fast? Yes, it was. CNA 600, can you make a video to know how to double trapeze under spinnaker? Yes, I can, but that's going to have to wait until next year now, because all of our spinnaker boats have bit... Okay, not all. There's one, because you can clearly see there is a spinnaker just there. But I'm not going to do that on this boat, because this is a Pacific, and a Pacific is not what we're looking for here with the double trapeze spinnaker sailing. We could try it, but I think for what you're after, we're looking at F18 sort of style. So that will have to wait until next year, I'm afraid. Okay, scrolling back. M1, I sail at FJ. I believe that must be a Flying Junior. Don't really know much about the Flying Junior. I did sail a Flying Dutchman once. Hell of a boat. But the Flying Junior, I would guess, is like a small version of the Flying Dutchman. Okay. Samuel. When I used my rudder on the Hobie 16 in rough weather, I seem to fight with my rudder a lot. With my rudder a lot more than you. Can yours lock or something? No, it will be down to the whole setup of the boat. I would guess if your rudders are not set up nicely, like if when you put your rudder down, just so happens I have a rudder stock here, my hand is the rudder blade. If you put the rudder blade down, see how that goes into the front there, your rudder blade should be sitting there even when under pressure. So if you put your boat on a trolley or a trailer, so the back is up, so there's enough height to put your rudders down on the beach, and then pull back here and see if any space appears here. If any space appears here, what that's going to do is make the steering heavy. If that's right up there, your steering should be quite light, but if it comes back, your steering could be heavy. The other thing that could make it heavy is if between the holes in your stock, the pin that goes down there and the back of the boat, if there's any play in there, so it should be tight, no movement. But if there's any movement, if there's a little bit, that's all right. But if there's a lot, like you can do that kind of movement with it, then that is going to have the same effect, because the rudder is going to come back. So whether it comes back like this or like this, it's going to be the same. It's going to make your steering heavy. The other thing that can make your steering heavy, perhaps, is if the rudders are completely out of alignment. I did do a video on rudder alignment, but basically you want to have the rudders, check it when the jib is up, because the jib, if we're talking Hobie 16, Hobie 14, anything where the rig tension goes on the jib, or just make sure your rig tension is on, and then again with the boat on the trolley, bows on the floor, so you can get both rudders down, check that the rudders are straight or slightly coming in, just very slightly coming in, and then that shouldn't be affecting the steering. That is what could be making your steering heavy. The other thing could be if you've got your mast way too far back. That could make the steering heavy. All right, there we go. Or perhaps it could be as simple as perhaps you're too far back on the boat. If it does feel like you're popping a bit of a wheelie, your boat should be flat. If the front of the boat is up, you're putting a lot of load at the back where the rudders are, and that's going to make it heavier. All right, we're scrolling back. Oh, sorry, Eric. I think you are answering some questions there. Is it fun? How long is this? Yes, it's fun. It's as long as you want it to be. That's just guessing what it was we were talking about. Okay. Hi, Matthew. Good to have you on board. Always nice that people are coming back. M1, have you ever sailed in an FJ? No, but I think I probably just answered this. I have sailed a Flying Dutchman, but not a Flying Junior. All right. Very good. Yeah, we're just about to lose the sun. This is tragic. It's going to get a bit chilly. Steve-O, hello. Afternoon today, my new FX1 sails got delivered. What? Can't wait to see the kite flying with the design I went for. Oh my goodness. I think the Joyrider TV community can also not wait to see your FX1 with the new sails up there, Steve-O. Good work. Lego Legend. Wow, Lego Legend. Good to have you on board. I don't believe you've been here before, but welcome. Our Hobie 16's good for 14, 15-year-olds. Yes, they are. The Hobie 16 was the youth class in the UK for quite a while. And the only thing that's going to hold you back on a 16 if you are in that age range is your weight. And what that's going to do is mean that perhaps you might have to reef the mainsail or put a smaller sail on. Like you might have seen, I've been sailing with a Hobie 14 sail on the 16. That would work really well if you're quite light. But if your combined crew weight is 140 kilos or more, that's probably a bit heavy for 14, 15-year-olds. But then that is going to work. Very good. Yeah, good choice though. The 16 is the best boat to learn on because you can make mistakes on the 16, but if you make a mistake on the 16 will let you know. Hello Russell, breaking out the wetsuit for this weekend. Weather is cooling up, but the wind is picking up. Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. Glad to know that you're still getting some good action in the autumn months. Yeah, so this is what Eric was talking about. He talked about the Dragoon. It is really fun. The Dragoon is a great boat. It's a 13-foot long catamaran. It's originally designed for children. But what we find with all children's boats is it works really well as a double-hander. Yeah, great boat, really fun. But you don't want to put more than about 100 kilos on there because it's quite a small boat, it's 13 feet long, but it absolutely skips along like a puppy lapping milk, both upwind and down. Robbie, Hobie 16 rudder cam. How loose is too loose? Constantly running into the dreaded stuck cam. Well, I need to pop them up, clear off seaweed. Okay, so yeah, that is a real pain. The whole rudder cam thing, it depends a bit on how much wind you're likely to be sailing in. But I know you want to set up your rudders once and that will do for every condition. Like here, we wind our rudders up really tight because the boats are being used most days in quite a lot of wind. And when you're on full power, send it 20 knots plus, you don't want the rudders kicking up. So we set ours to about 14 kilos. Yeah, to see how we do this, gauging the tension of the rudders, do check out the rudder servicing video, which I'm sure you've seen it already, but that will explain that to you. But if you're sailing in less wind, what Hobie recommend is 12 kilos is the minimum. But what you need to make sure is you keep your whole system running sweet, service it quite regularly, lubricate it. Somebody said, I think last week, they used WD-40 on their rudder assembly to keep everything running nicely. But oh my goodness, this is a great example. Oh, that is rough. Yeah. Make sure this part, the bit that goes into the bottom of the cam, that Hobie called the plunger, make sure that can move up and down freely. Make sure, if you haven't got the spring in at all, with the cam on the pin there, make sure the cam can rotate freely as well. That's going to help. What people do is, there's the cam in the inverted position, is they actually take a hacksaw and they cut off a bit of the nose there. And that means you can put the rudder down with the cam locked down. I don't think I've ever actually tried this. Maybe that would be one experiment to carry out for the winter. But the thing is, if you raise and lower the cam without the cam coming back upright, I don't think it's going to last very long. And before too long, you're not going to have any nose left at all, which means your rudder could kick up quite easily, I think. But worth considering if you're having to lift your rudders a lot and the rudder cam thing is a big issue. Yeah, I think that's... So, if your rudder system is really well maintained, then you should be able to lift the rudders from the boat without the cam staying inverted. But that's the first step. And then the second step, if we just come over here, where we have, can we see that? Yep. When you lift the rudders, rather than just pulling straight up like this, if you pull up and forwards, then what that action is going to do is it's going to help to rotate the cam back into the correct position, because the cam stop plate is going to be pushing the cam forwards if, when you lift the rudders, you pull it forwards as well as up. There we go. That's the best that I've got just now on that topic, but I feel your pain. The Hobie rudder system is an imperfect system, but very robust. Okay, let's just do a little bit of, let's buy some stuff. So, what you need is a Joyrider TV bottle. Head over to totaljoyrider.com to get one of those. You need a Total Joyrider hat, and you need a Total Joyrider beater, like this. Even if it is the winter, great Christmas gifts. For any Christmas shopping, get in there quick, because delivery can be sluggish, because the hats and the beaters like these, they'll be coming from Greece, where it's not famous for fast delivery. Anyway, scrolling back, sorry, I have to do this sort of stuff because that's what puts food on the table, isn't it? Very important. Hi Christian, good to have you on board. As always, hi Amir. We have here in Israel big swells. Any special technique? Oh, the wave sailing question. This is an absolutely massive question. Where do you even begin? Let's just assume that the launching and landing is taken care of, because that's like an hour-long chat on its own. But the main thing, if you're going out sailing with waves and you're not used to it, is just make the boat as easy to sail as possible. So, example, your trapeze wires, oh, here's one. Your trapeze wires set so that they're a lot shorter, that's going to help for a start. What else? Get sailing really comfortably before you go out on the trapeze. That's going to help as well. It all sounds very much like common sense, because it is, but sometimes it's not obvious. So first suggestion, make the boat as easy to sail as possible. And then the second thing with sailing in waves is when you're going to tack the boat, tack just as you come to the top of a wave, because there's less resistance. If you try to tack going downhill, you'll have the full hull in the water, making it more difficult to tack. Whereas if you're coming up the wave, the bows will be popping out the top, meaning it will go round really easily. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much on the sailing and waves question because it is so massive. We could spend an enormous amount of time just there. But thank you very much for your question, and we'll get onto this more with more detail. Nicholas, hello. Have you ever had hull failure on a beach cat? Yes, we have. We've had various types of hull failure. We've had very soft decks where there's delamination in the deck. We've had delamination in the sidewalls of the hull, so much so that the hull has actually cracked along the side of the boat, meaning that the boat filled up with water. And fortunately, in pretty much all modern catamarans, there'll be some sort of foam buoyancy inside the hulls. So in theory, the hull will never sink completely. But yes, we have had these sort of disasters happen. All right. Tom, hey. Hi, Tom. Nice to have you on board. Okay, Steve-O, on his FX1, if I can't point as high as others are in Spitfires, what can I change to help me point better? I think one of them on the FX1 is you could do something with the mast rotation. I think if you bring the mast rotation in a bit more, perhaps that will help you to point. Perhaps if you... the way it works with a lot of catamarans is once you get to the point where you've got the windward hull lifted, then you can start to point higher, because once you've got the windward hull lifted, the foils on the leeward hull are working much more effectively, and it means you can point higher. So if the wind is marginal, kind of move into the centre of the boat a little bit to try to encourage that windward hull to lift. Get quite nicely forwards on the boat as well. Dig the point of the bow in to the water. That's going to help. And I think with the sheeting of the mainsail, just kind of, it is something you have to experiment with a bit just to find the sweet spot. But perhaps try bringing the mast rotation in a bit more so that the spanner bar is pointing towards just at the back of the dagger board. Get into the middle of the boat, encourage the hull to fly, or don't get out on the trapeze quite as early to encourage the hull to fly, and perhaps that way you might improve your pointing a little bit. Okay, we have Derishi04. Have you ever sailed an A-class catamaran? When yes, how was it, and were you able to foil? The answer to this is actually no, but I would absolutely love to. I think one day I'm going to get my hands on an A-class, whether it's a low rider, as they're calling them, or a foiling one. Obviously the foiling one would be absolutely amazing, but even a low rider I'd love to have a go, because it is the absolute kind of pinnacle of high-end single-handed catamaran sailing of this type of boat. So I'd love to get involved, but no, I haven't sailed one at this time to date. Sean, hi. Looks like you might have tinkered with the setup for the writing bag since the first video. How is it rigged now? Well, it's pretty similar. It's just a different bag, but what I've got on the current bag that I'm using is got the bag, and then there's rope coming from the bag, and then that rope goes onto the purchase, and then the purchase I'm putting onto the writing line. The bag is definitely, if you haven't seen these writing pole, the writing pole video. Hey, I'm on the phone. Got a woofing dog here. It's not impressed with the writing pole because it didn't work. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not sold on the writing pole idea at all. I did see the video. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video of the Hobie 18 Magnum with kind of like the writing plank that fits at the bottom hull, which works really well. But I can't help but think with that technique, you could damage the boat. Whereas the reason I was attracted to the writing pole is because it wouldn't damage the boat. It'd be very quick and easy to deploy. But unfortunately, it didn't work. And I have made the second writing pole video with the Mark II writing pole, but perhaps I've spilt the beans there already, if it worked or not. Also with the writing pole, you've got all this stuff under the boat. So especially if you're sailing a boat which doesn't have a raised trampoline, it's more likely going to get hit by the waves. And who wants that? The bag is definitely the way forward, because the only time you're going to need it is in light winds. And that means if it's light winds, there's no rush to get it all organised because you're sat with the boat on its side, you're not drifting very quickly. If it's so windy that you're drifting quickly on the side, then yes, you need something faster. That's when the regular writing line or maybe even the Hawaiian will come in. But yeah, the new bag is just because I've got a new bag. And so we've got writing line over the hull, purchase off the bag, then some ropes from the bag to the bag. That's what we're running now. But there will be another, the Mark II writing pole video tomorrow. I went out and did that this morning. Nice. Okay, Martin, hi. Oh, hi from Scotland. Your videos are amazing. Oh, that's nice to know. Yeah, the intention of the videos is to help people get perhaps inspired to go catamaran sailing, and then if you actually go catamaran sailing, to help you to go catamaran sailing in perhaps a more controlled, safer and better informed manner. So thanks very much for letting me know. It's nice to know that the videos are working. All right, scrolling on, Russell, hello. Double trapede, double trapped on downwind versus helm on the boat. Is it true that one person on the boat will be able to sail further downwind possible? Okay, that's a good one. So on an F18 style boat, or any boat which has got two trapeze wires, two people and a spinnaker, there's this thing called VMG, which is what is the most efficient angle to sail at downwind. Of course, a big question. If we right, let's take it through the whole journey. Method one would be, this is what we did originally in the Hobie Tiger class when it was brand new back in the 90s, is we sailed downwind, even in strong winds, with the crew on the leeward side, helm on the windward side. So we were getting the hull lifted really, really early, and we could sail very, very, very deep downwind, but it wasn't as quick as having both members of the team on the windward side. So there's certain wind and wave conditions where one is going to benefit above the other. Like it's certainly in the lighter winds, having the crew on the leeward side is going to be much better than having both people on the windward side on the downwind leg with the spinnaker up. Then moving on, having both people on the windward side, as long as we've got the hull in the air, the windward hull in the air, that is the most important thing. On the downwind leg, if you've got too much weight out of the side of the boat and the windward hull is in the water, or you've got to head up a very long way to unstick the windward hull, and every time you try to bear away, the windward hull comes down, then you've got too much weight out. But what we've sort of found is as soon as you are double trapezing upwind with a bit of power, then definitely single trapezing downwind is the way. Because, reason why, is because even if the wind is a little bit gusty, if you're putting more power on, you're going to be smoothing out the gusts and lulls because you're increasing your apparent wind and your induced wind. So by smoothing that out, it means you'll be able to sail a lot smoother, keeping the boat speed on more, which is good. Now, the question of should you double trapeze downwind, I'm still in the probably not going to help. It's not going to help that much camp. With the single trapezing, you should be able to keep your weight a bit further back as well. You should have a higher degree of control, and you will go a bit deeper than those who are double trapezing. But if your team is particularly light, then the double trapeze is probably better. But to be honest, I haven't practiced the double trapezing on the downwind so much. But yeah, so in conclusion, I haven't really answered your question there, Russell, but I would say give it a go and see what works. That is probably worst answer of the day. But single trapezing downwind, definitely worth doing as soon as it's double trapezing upwind, so then you can keep the speed on, smooth out those gusts and lulls by sailing fast, which if the wind strength is going like this, but you're creating your own wind by going fast, then the actual wind that you're experiencing is going to be more stable. There we go. Right, I'm going to scroll back. I will attempt to do some more research into this arena because it is a very interesting topic. Okay, James, hi. When I lift my rudders, one will fall. I lift that, the other falls. Oh yeah, we know this one. What this will be is, I don't know what system you're running on your tiller bar, but it's because there's something not moving here when it should be moving. So I'm just trying to remember if you've got the kind of, what would you call it? The latest system, which is like this, then these pieces here, they move from side to side like this. But if nothing moves, like if from here to here to here, if this is all like a fixed block, when you lift one, you'll be lifting the other one a bit as well, and that's going to drop down. So if you have got the nut and bolt system here, perhaps just have a look at loosening it off a little bit and seeing if that helps. But I'm very much aware of this problem. Oh, here we go. If you're not sure what I mean by the nut and bolt system, here it is, where we've got this. If this is too tight, it doesn't want to move too much, but like this much movement is what we're looking for. Then that means that it will give enough so that if you lift one rudder, the other shouldn't drop down. There we are. All right, scrolling back. Aha, Joseph Bennett, who could that guy be? Okay, hi, nice to have you on board. We seem to have the same name. Hayden, what? Yeah, that's what I thought. Jack and Linda, hi, nice to hear from you. I think it's been a while. I think we've featured a few of Jack's boats on Show Us Your Cat, I believe. Does the top come in bright yellow? No, I've got bright green, but not bright yellow. Yeah, I am wearing two beaters at the moment, but one of them is a one-off Bad Boy 94 beater. But I have got the beaters in minging green. So if you want a minging green beater, it can be done. Hi, James. No flags yet. Yeah, I haven't ordered the new shipment of flags yet, James. So it's been pretty, you're not going to believe it, but it has been pretty hectic. Not hectic, but there's just been a lot on round here, because even though we're closed, we are kind of open again at the moment, because we've got a group of people from Germany in this week who are here to do some sailing. So I am very much on duty all day, every day at the moment. But getting round to things. Scoop, nice to have you back with a Scoop. I have a 1979 Hobie cat, and it's not a black boat. Oh, it's not a black boat. And I would like to paint the aluminium black. How should I do this? Whew. Unfortunately, I have to say that is an area outside of my field of expertise, so I can't give you a good answer there. But do be wary of, if you've got silver mast and beams on your boat, if you just spray paint them or something, or I think any sort of painting of aluminium mast, especially painting them black, I think the finish is quite likely to not be very good. It might look good to start with, but after a little while, it might not look quite so. Oh, here we go. There's Andrew, he knows. Have it powder coated. Paint will rub off. Yes, there we go. Powder coated. That's how you should do it. This is what's great about the international Joyrider TV community. There's a lot of experience out there in different arenas. So thanks everybody for helping each other with this stuff. All right. William says, same issue. Trying to take the tiller extension off the tramp and lay it next, parallel to the tiller arm of one of the hulls. One of the other things is I did it in, I didn't do many of these don't do this videos, but one of them is if there's anything under the tiller connecting bar, like if there's the boom, your sail, perhaps your blocks, that is going to lift the tiller connecting bar enough, which means that the rudders are going to drop down. So do make sure there's nothing underneath the tiller connecting bar as well. Right, we're just coming up to final time at the bar for questions, coming up to 45 minutes. So if you've got any more questions, get them in now, or that will be enough. 5150, launching in the surf would make for an interesting video. Now you mention it. Yeah, I think it would make a very interesting video, but unfortunately we don't get waves here. There's a chance that perhaps over the winter months we may get some, if we get wind from the southwest, which is quite strong, then that can bring in with it some small waves. And if we do get some small waves and it's safe to do so, then I will charge out there and see about making a launching in the surf video. But because we never do it, I'll be able to do it, but perhaps not quite as gracefully as some of you guys do it, because you do it all the time. I'll just be making it up as I go along. But perhaps that's what you want to see. You want to see me have some sort of capsize in the surf disaster kind of thing. Get your bag out now then, Joyrider TV. Not enough time. Yeah, but I agree. Hello, Arthur. Nice to have you on board. Hello, Steve. Just bought a Nacra F18 this summer. Keelboat racer with a Nacra F18. I think that is a step in a different direction. Hello again, Robin. Thank you for all that you do. Nice. Yeah, that's great to know that the videos are having such a positive effect. And if, like I said, I'm from when I'm easing off the gas a little bit at work here, what I'm going to do is go through all of these Q&A sessions, and perhaps what I'll do is kind of make a spreadsheet, because I like doing that, of all of the different questions that have come up, and with the ones that come up most regularly at the top down to the ones that have come up once or twice, and then I'll start going through them and making a video on an actual video with that's put together in answer to all of the questions. So all the questions perhaps being answered with a little bit more panache, so that perhaps there's a bit more detail there. But thanks to everybody who is getting involved and watching the videos, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. Hi, Charlie. Oh, Charlie Shires. Ah, nice to have you on board. How's it going? I think it's only a couple of days now until Pip the cat is going to be moving house from the beach. Pip the cat is still around. Charlie was one of the main fundraisers for Pip the cat. But Pip the cat is going to be moving house, probably to my house, which is nice. All right, scrolling back. Hello, Jeff. Yo, great to have you with us at such a time. Hi, Michelle. Ahoy! I noticed you rig your headstay with 2 extensions at the bottom. Seems to give the mast extra lean. How does this help you? If you check it out, I just did a video on this actually on Monday, which answers this question very nicely. But yes, on the beach, here we've got some Hobie 16s. On the beach, the rig is extremely loose. Check out how loose this is. Whoa, that is loose. The mast is extremely loose, and with it being that loose, it is coming back quite a long way. But can I negotiate this tricky section? Yes, I can. But yeah, the double chain plate is basically so that when we put the jib up, bottom chain plate, this elastic pulls the top chain plate, this is the forestay, pulls the forestay forwards, taking the forestay away from the jib, so you haven't got the forestay bashing into the jib all the time. We have been working on today on the beach, because I've mentioned, perhaps when that question's come up before, this fitting that was available, which I thought was available from Murray's in the US. Now, I had a really good look on the Murray's website. They've got a lot of stuff there, but they didn't have this fitting which I spoke of. So just today, we've actually been doing some R&D into making what I have in my mind of this fitting. So that will be in a video shortly once that fitting's ready, tested and working. That'll be more successful than the capsized righting pole. Simon, want to buy a new custom sail for my old Hobie 16. What should I be looking for? I'd say what you should be looking for is something as similar to the original sail as possible in shape wise. The Hobie 16 is such a design that if you go changing the shape of the mainsail, it could really upset the balance of the boat and the sailing experience. So you want to get a custom sail made which is very similar to the original. The ideal thing would be if a sailmaker could take a brand new original Hobie sail, copy it exactly the same, but perhaps change the colours or whatever, and then that would make for a really good sail. But I would say don't go for a sail which is a completely different shape, because the chances of it upsetting the balance of the boat is too much. It's a gamble, too much of a gamble. So there we go. I think if you're in the States, there have been quite a few people using these. Oh, there you go. James says get in touch with Sailrite. There was another brand of sails in the USA who I've seen a few, those red, white and blue Hobie 16 sails. There's been a couple on Show Us Your Cat in the recent weeks. Are they called intensity sails? I think Robin got an intensity sail on her 16. I can't remember now, but anyway, that is what I would look for. Eric asks, have you sailed the Bravo? Yes, I have, and it's really, really good fun. Actually, it's a whole world away from a Hobie 16, but it is really good fun. And if you've only got a small amount of space or not a very big place to sail on, then, or if you just want something that you can just chuck in the water, unroll the sail and you're off, then the Bravo would be a pretty good choice. But it's not as much of a boat as the Hobie 16 is, for example. Intensity, that was the one. Yeah, Intensity sails. They seem to have been doing some good business and worth a look. Julia, hi. Thanks for all the videos new to this world. They've been super helpful. Thank you very much for letting me know. It's always a pleasure to know that the videos are helping. Eric, is the Bravo fun? Yes, it is. Fun day sailing. Can you make scrolling back shirts? Yes, I can. Okay, James with the thumbs up. Thank you, James. 5150. How is the Show Us Your Cat stock going? Can send you some photos of our Hobie 8, of our Inter 18, but wanting to make some good videos. Yeah, actually, since the shout out, when would that have been? Last Sunday, there has been quite a lot come in, and I can tell you this now: next Sunday's Show Us Your Cat is going to be an absolute humdinger. It's going to be up there with one of the more special. They've all been special, but this one, there's some good stuff there. And but yeah, so if you've got in your mind that you want to go out and get some good shots of your boat, we're in no rush. I've got 4 catamarans here that I could do a feature on if it was necessary, or I could do a special if it was necessary. But don't worry, we have got enough for Show Us Your Cat to still be going ahead. So don't go rushing it and not telling the whole story of your boat because you're rushing it. Wait until you get that bit of video you want before. Okay, Simon, black gel coat is an option, but not sure with. Yeah, I'm not sure about gel coat on the aluminium either. Yeah, I wouldn't I'd go, I think Andrew knows the powder coating. Hello, Max. Can a fully turtled cat be righted by the waves and wind itself? Got in a storm of, wow, more than 120 kilometers an hour. Turtle boat waiting, was afraid the wind could flip the boat back upright. I think if there's nobody on the boat, if the boat is unattended upside down and there's wind and waves, a lot of wind, then the wind could flip the boat back upright, and then chances are it'd flip over again and the boat could actually be kind of rolled across the water. But if you're on the boat upside down, as long as you stay on the windward side, keep that windward side of the boat down, it's unlikely that the boat will flip back upright. But yeah, that is quite an alarming situation. All right, scrolling back. Cormac, International 14 overview. Wow, that's a good question. I never sailed an International 14, but what I heard was the International 14 is the boat that makes sailing in a Force 2 feel like sailing in a Force 6. Very difficult, monohull. It's a development class. That means you can do whatever you like with the rig as long as you don't go over certain limits. But I can't speak with any authority on that, except it's the first monohull that really caught my eye when I was young, because it's double trapeze, very, very, very quick, very light, sails are massive. It's like a two-person 18-foot skiff. Good question. Cormac, what multi-hulls do ye have at Wildwind? Okay. All right, let's see if I can do this. Starting with the smallest, we have the Hobie Dragoon. Is that the smallest we've got? Yeah. Hobie Dragoon, Hobie 14, Hobie 15, Hobie 16, Hobie FX1, Hobie Pacific, Hobie Tiger. We're into 18 feet now. We've got, of course, the C2 from Goodall Design. Is that all of the 18-foot ones? Yes, it is. Then we have the Tornado. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, it doesn't sound like that many when I do it like that, but we've got more than one of each type, so we have got quite a few. I think we've got a total of about 30 catamarans here. Cheers, Max. Cheers, Cormac. Cormac's C2 is going under surgery. Man. The longest inland race in. All right, good luck to your C2, and we're all sending our thoughts and best wishes to your C2 as she goes into surgery there. The Kong Galway. Yeah. Get in touch with Sailrite, and we've got the Intensity Sails coming in there. Ian, why does Wildwind close over the winter? Does it get really cold, or is it so you can maintain the fleet? No, it's because the weather becomes really inconsistent. We can't guarantee the sunshine. I think, more so than the wind. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree, but the thing that puts a smile on people's face more than anything when they come to Greece is a nice bit of sunshine. And you know, the wind is a massive bonus. We love the wind, but for normal people, the sunshine is more important. And as we move into the winter, then the weather becomes really inconsistent, and you might have weeks where it's raining every day, and that isn't fun for anyone. As well as that, the local airport isn't open over the winter as well, and so those are the main reasons. Inconsistency of the weather. And Catamaran, the 2020 Mini Mega is coming next week in Mississippi. I'll be racing with 24 other Hobie 14s. Okay, if you're in the Mississippi area and you've got a Hobie 14, perhaps get in touch with Catamaran there, or look up the Mini Mega, see if you can get involved. That sounds amazing. And then we've got Jack and Linda, positive effect there. Yes, that would be the sunshine, I'm guessing. All right, which brings us to the end, right on the 1 hour mark. Thank you very much, everyone, for being so disciplined and stopping the questions at 45 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Do head over to totaljoyrider.com for some stuff. If you are thinking of doing your Christmas shopping at totaljoyrider.com, get in there early, because as I said, the delivery times can get a bit sluggish. Thanks, man, and good luck to you in the Netherlands. And if there's anything specific you want to see in the online store, do let me know. Send me an email and I can make it happen, so then it's there and then you can get one. Thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. And thanks very much, and see you next week with some more of this.